I'm gonna be real with you. Our cultural foods have us in a chokehold. Like, I don't want to start this off on the wrong foot. Like, I don't want to say that our cultural food is unhealthy, because historically it doesn't have to be. But with our external influences and how we have kind of like taken our ancestors' plate and kind of like did our own thing with it. And then also not even just did our own thing, but we have to understand that our ancestors' plates were to help nourish their bodies during that time period. A lot of things have changed. Our ancestors were working in the fields. If we're talking about Black US Americans, our ancestors were working hard, especially if they're in the hot sun all day picking okra and picking corn and picking cotton. But yes, guys, our cultural foods have us in a chokehold collectively. I'm not even talking about Black US Americans. I'm talking about Black Caribbeans, Black Africans, everyone. Our cultural foods have us in a chokehold. I don't want to say that our cultural foods is unhealthy, but the way we have kind of modified it, we've made it unhealthy. You know, we've made it harmful for us. For instance, I grew up in a Black US American household. Our cultural foods are candy yams, fried chicken, smothered whatever, whether that's pork chops or anything else, rice, dirty rice to be exact. But we also have our healthy things. Like we have our turnip greens, our mustard greens, our collard greens. We have a variety of vegetables, our black eyed peas, our okra. All of those things, in a sense, are considered our culture, but we tend to put extra emphasis on certain parts of our cultural foods because, let's be honest, carbs are addicting. So carbs are the foods that we typically would emphasize in our meals. But once we start to kind of like re-navigate life in a sense of how do I eat to make sure that my body is able to get nutrients that it needs or able to kind of detoxify what it needs to detoxify, then we get an understanding of how to modify our cultural foods to our body. And for context, I don't like to demonize our cultural foods because back in the days when our ancestors were actually eating, high carb, high fat meals, they were probably not as affected by them like we are today because they were in the fields working hard, guys. They were picking okra, they were picking corn, they were in the field just doing their thing and burning and like going into ketosis and just doing that, They was burning all that, energy that they were consuming. We, y'all, us, we will eat the same foods that our ancestors eat. Candy yams, mashed potatoes, biscuit, beans, collard greens, ham hocks, fried chicken, smothered pork chops, all that in one plate, and then go sit down, watch TV. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you go eat that same plate and then go run a marathon because that's not probably going to happen. But collectively speaking, we have so many different factors that are happening in this modern day life, especially when it comes to stress, that we have to re-navigate that plate. We have to re-navigate what we bring to our table from our ancestry. And the way you do that is like literally just use your brain, right? You know what makes you feel a certain kind of way. You know what gives you the itis. Eating all that bread, eating all those candy yams with all that sugar in it is going to make you feel inflamed. So you scale back on those things, It's hard. Carbs are addicting. The way you kind of collaborate carbs and sugars and fats and oils, they can literally cause chemical reactions in your brain to make you feel like it's actually healing you from a mental perspective. But all in all, it's actually probably causing more damage than good. So we have to re-navigate. I keep saying that word, re-navigate. It's kind of sticking to me. But we have to rethink our plate, Instead of thinking about, what can I eat to make me feel good? Or even so, I miss mama's plate. I miss how mama, I miss that Sunday dinner. I want to redo that Sunday dinner. Think about it from a perspective of what can I do to nourish my body? We know that's not nourishing our bodies. So if you can't do anything else with your plate, at least fill half your plate up with vegetables and don't change anything else. You know what I'm saying? Half your plate with vegetables, eating your vegetables first will literally pave the way for you to heal your relationship with food and also have the better benefit from whatever you're consuming. Because having a whole plate of rice is not going to help us. We love carbs. We love grains. If you go to a restaurant, the first thing they're going to put on the plate is rice. And not even just like 1 cup or a quarter plate of rice, they gotta put the base of the plate as rice. And that's a problem. A lot of us can't handle that. So we develop insulin resistance when we're continuing to eat like that. And it's not just rice, it's anything white, to be honest. It could be pasta, it could be bread, things of that nature. So instead of seeing that carb or that white food as the main source, have it as a side piece, and make your vegetables your main source. So what I like to do, I like to base my plate with vegetables, or at least have half my plate with vegetables. Like right now, I'm about to eat some good food, some squash and carrots. Half of my plate is vegetables. A quarter of my plate is the grain, which is quinoa. And the last quarter of my plate is going to be the chickpeas and jackfruit stew. That's how you balance your meals, and that's how you heal your body. From a cultural standpoint, we have to adopt this style of eating so we can heal our legacy.